Do you wonder what's in Brimstone's basement? Where KO is from? Why Oman looks like he does? Then you're interested in Valorant's lore. Today, I'm going to tell you what Valorant's most essential lore is so you understand what's going on in the game. So let's start by telling you that all of Valorant's lore takes place in the near future. And everything started with the first light. The first light was a huge event where the entire world's energy source or whatever got shut down, so there was no energy in the entire world. This was on for a couple hours, there was just completely pitch dark, but then it was just going back to normal, completely normal, nothing changed. Or did it? There was something new on Earth, something powerful that could power a lot of stuff. And that was Radianite. The thing that is super powerful, the thing that people want in Valorant, and people that are close to it for a long time become Radiants. People like Jet and Phoenix started getting superpowers, and these weren't even humans anymore. They were Radiants. Humans with superpowers. And the first light wasn't the only thing that happened around this time. There was also a split. Two parallel universes formed, Alpha and Omega. Our world is Alpha, and there's a parallel universe which is Omega. These two are really important in Valorant's lore, because there are some really big things that are separating these two. Around this time, a company was formed. They call themselves Kingdom Corporation in the Alpha world and Kingdom Industries in the Omega world. That is one of the changes between Alpha and Omega. The kingdom, or these kingdoms, formed the Valorant Protocol and Valorant Legacy. The Valorant Protocol and Valorant Legacy is kind of like an agency, and the kingdom needed some agents in this thing, so they took 3 people that worked for the kingdom: Viper, Omen, and Brimstone. Brimstone was the obsolete leader, Viper was his right hand woman, and Omen is kind of just an agent. Viper is kind of a psychopath in a way that just likes to torture people. Super good and such. Omen is originally not a monster, he's now, but that's because he was a scientist that died and then got resurrected by Sage and then became a monster somehow. I don't really know how. Brimstone was a veteran soldier that had fought many wars and seen all kinds of battles. But something that is just so amazing with this guy is that he's a really good leader and would never, ever leave a companion behind. Would always pull through for his comrades. But before the main story, or whatever you should call it, starts, we have some more agents that started joining the protocol. In a chronological order, we have Killjoy, Cypher, Sova, Sage, Phoenix, and Yet. Killjoy is a young technician or engineer and is literally a genius. She builds robots and it's super cool. And then we have Cypher, who is kind of this spy person who really likes information but does not like to give out information, so we don't know that much about him. Sova is this Russian dude who actually has been on Omega, and he's met his Omega double, and he was yeah, I'm gonna spare ya. And he also is real good at getting info, and he has his drone owl thingy. Sage is a healer, or that's what people call her, but she doesn't want to be called that.
I am not just your healer!
But she is a healer. She uses these magical rocks or whatever. She is a Radiant, and she took Viper's place as right hand woman. and the Viper was not too happy about that, but yeah, Sage is kind of important. And then we finally have Phoenix and Jet. They are Radiant, and Phoenix is a firebender while Jet is an airbender. So I would say the story starts for real now. And the Valorant lore starts where Valorant started. The Duelist cinematic. I won't really go into detail, you can watch it yourself. But Omega Jet is on Alpha Earth, Alpha Phoenix chases her, she blows up the spike, and now there's an island in the sky. This island is the map Ascent in the game, and this was going to be called the Venice incident, because they were in Venice, Italy. After this, Brimstone and Sage are like, yeah, we need more agents for some reason, and they get Reyna, Raze, Breach, and Sky. Reyna is kind of insane. She wants to take over the world using like a radiant, and for some reason that is not noticeable. I feel like it's kind of noticeable, but for some reason it isn't. So then we have Raze, this kind of like funny girl that loves explosions.
I love explosions.
She builds her own things, kind of like this mage punk style. And yeah, she and Killjoy are really great friends. Breach is kind of interesting because he is actually from Sweden and is a really big criminal. He like robbed banks and like was a big person in like the criminal world or whatever. But then he had a choice: either go to prison for life or work for Valorant. So he was like, yeah, I'm gonna work for Valorant. Then we have Sky. It's a really strong woman from Australia, and she loves the forest. But there's a lot of like forest fires, and the forest like gets destroyed everywhere, and there are still big rifts in the sky. So Sage tells her this is all over the world, and Sky's like, oh no. Sage is like, wanna join Valorant so we can fix this? She's like, yeah. And so she's now in Valorant. And now Omega is back. Omega Phoenix is on bind, and Alpha Killjoy is sent to defeat him. But he plants the spike, Killjoy panics, and therefore Viper and Phoenix come as backup. They defuse the spike and Omega Phoenix runs away. But this is like the time where the agents realize that there are more of themselves in another universe. And after that they get an alarm that there is something happening at S22, also known as the map Icebox in the game. Omega Viper, Omega Jet and Omega Cypher is there and planning the spike. So Phoenix is sent there, where he meets Yoru, and Yoru turns into their Rift Walker and beats up everybody and defuses the spike. After that, Brimstone is like, wow, Yoru, you're cool, and Yoru gets to join the protocol, and then Astra came a bit after him. Astra is kinda like this thing called a Guardian. I will explain what it is later, because right now it's not really that important. But now we have come to something that's actually interesting. Raze. It's an island that is filled with radianites, and therefore the kingdom wants to mine all the radianite. The operation is led by Thurston Wolf, and he has been seen with Vincent Fabron. If you don't know who Vincent Fabron is, it's Chamber. In Chamber's special card, you can see that he's making some sort of deal with Thurston Wolf about the ship, but actually it's about the teleporter in the ship. You can see the teleporter if you just fly up and go a little bit. And there it is. A teleporter that is from Omega Earth. This all will be important soon, because now we're going to talk about the Radiant Wars. This is another timeline or the future, we don't actually know for sure, and that is where KO comes from. The entire world is in shackles, and this is because Reyna took over the world. You remember that I said that she wanted to take over the world? Yeah, she did. And that is where the Radiant Wars came from. So therefore, a bunch of scientists built KO, a radiant murdering machine. He was going to defeat Reyna, and he did. And then the Radiant Wars ended because KO destroyed the Radiants. And now it's at peace again. But the world is completely destroyed. So therefore KO somehow traveled back in time or to another timeline, we don't really know for sure. And came out through the teleporter on Breeze. And then the Valorant protocol finds KO and he joins the protocol. Remember that there are two kingdoms, Kingdoms Corporation on Alpha Earth and Kingdom Industries on Omega Earth? You remember that? Good. Because they have teamed up to save the world or something, I didn't really listen. But they have teamed up and there are a big facility called Everett-Linde where they now save the world or something. And here we also get to know two pretty important scientists that we will meet again later. Oran McCaff, working for Kingdom Corporation. Ruben Pontes, that works for Kingdom Industries. These two scientists are like the only scientists that talk to each other from Alpha and Omega, because Alpha and Omega for some reason doesn't really trust each other. But then it starts coming out warning signals like,
warning, Vincent Fabron is no longer permitted on facility grounds. Any persons resembling Fabron must be reported.
He disappears. People celebrate that they're finally done with this great invention that's going to save the world. And then something horrific happens.
Incredible that something so small can create such opportunity. Their efforts were noble, but sacrifices must be made. Ah, such a pity.
And now somehow Viper and Brimstone are stuck in some crystal cages. Honestly, I have no idea why, but anyway, Chamber comes there with his Omega double. They team up, save the day, and now Chamber is for some reason in the protocol. They don't know what he did to Fracture, so they're like, okay, yeah, you're a nice guy, you're joining the protocol. Also, about this Omega double, it has actually been with them for a long time. The Omega teleporter that is on Breeze, it was the Omega chamber that got it. And there were two bullets that was crashing together in Fracture, and that was Chamber and his Omega double teaming up. The Valorant protocol got an idea. They are going to attack Omega instead of letting Omega attack them, because at some point another spike will be detonated and they are going to face massive problems. So they are going to build a teleporter to get to Omega Earth. They do not really have the technology though, so they are thinking about getting stuff from Fracture. Now Killjoy, Cypher and Viper are going to Fracture to see what they can find. Now they need something that can power the teleporter, and Chamber is like, oh yeah, I know this person called Neon that would be perfect. So they contact Neon and Neon joins the protocol. But they still somehow do not manage to build it, so Chamber's like, here's the blueprints, the materials, the charge point, how to charge it, the experiment blueprints, the best version, the important parts, a remote, a pad to control it, and here's the device. Please do not ask. Just gonna mention this little quick. there is someone called Agent 8, which is the 8th agent that joined the Valorant protocol, but they left and we have no idea who they are. And now while they are building this teleporter, they started getting blackmails from someone they call the Blackmailer. They started sending dossiers to the different agents on the protocol, including Brimstone and Sage. And also this symbol started showing up everywhere, like it was just in so many places. They got to see it everywhere, and this really started getting to them. So they found out where they were, and now that they know where the Blackmailer is, they send KO, Sova, Neon, Cypher, Breach and Chamber on a mission to hunt this Blackmailer down. The Blackmailer was a Radiant and almost killed like all of them. I will have a video which was supposed to play here, but it was way too long, so it will be separately uploaded. I will have it in the end, like you can click over to it. But anyway, the Blackmailer that they found is Fade, a really strong Radiant. Fade is trying to find somebody she calls him, and she doesn't find him. So Cypher suspects that he's on Omega Earth, so Cypher and Brimstone offered her a job at the protocol, and she said yes, as long as they help her get closer to him. And now finally Killjoy's teleporter is done, so now they can teleport over to Omega Earth, they think, because they haven't really tested it. So Fade is like, honestly, if it can take me to him, I'll take the teleporter and scout the area. So she does, she gets there, scouts to the area, it's kind of like some town underwater, I don't know. And then she comes back, everyone's super happy because it works, and Brimstone's like, okay, we need to find out what Kingdom Industries want. So therefore, Brimstone sends Killjoy, Neon and Reyna to get info about this. But immediately they get attacked by Atlas. Atlas is a Omega organization that works with the security around exploration of other universes and or the travel between different universes. So the Alpha agents traveling between universes alarmed Atlas, and they came to attack. During the fight, Killjoy runs off and tries to figure out what Omega needs the Radionite for and what place they're in. She found out that they were underwater in a huge glass dome called Pearl, one of the maps in the game. And they're underwater because there are so many natural disasters on Omega Earth for some reason. And they need all the Radionite from Alpha Earth because they are out of Radionite and they build their entire society on top of it. But during the fight we see something interesting. Omega Viper is there, but she died quite a long time ago when Yoru and Phoenix was at S22. So how's she alive? Well, it's mostly speculations, but probably that Omega Sage resurrected her because Sage can do that. But then she would have resulted something like Omen, right? Because Omen got resurrected by Sage and he became a monster. So it's really like, how is she alive? And that's something I like to think about once in a while. Now they are done with their mission, so they all get back to Alpha Earth, where they discover something new. The Valorant protocol got to know that Valorant Legacy has some sort of new power source they're using. So they figure out what it is, and it's some sort of ancient artifact made by the Guardians. More on them later. So they find the person that has this artifact in the Alpha world, and it's apparently some sort of person called Varun Batra, and works for Realm. Fade says that she worked a bit for Realm before, and that their main thing is that they stop criminals from selling ancient artifacts on the black market. But then they realize that they are chasing Varun Batra and that they can't really find him, but they really want to find him, and that they aren't really stopping criminals from selling things on the black market right now. So they decide that they are going to find Varun Batra before Realm. And then they realize that Astra's golden glove gauntlet thing is connected with this ancient artifact. They use the gauntlet to find Varun Batra, and they save him precisely from Realm. And then we get to hear Harbor's story. Varun Batra and Captain Greaves goes into this cave or whatever, where they meet some people, kill them, and then Varun gets this artifact. But this artifact was nothing like everything else they'd seen. This artifact let him bend water. He became a waterbender and could summon water out of nothing with this. And Captain Greaves knew that this was something else and wanted it for himself. So therefore Varun fled, and Realm went from trying to stop criminals from selling things on the black market to everyone hunting down Varun Batra because they really wanted this artifact. His new code name was Harbor. My friend that said that I had to have this in the video. A picture says more than 1,000 words, so boom. Yes, this is official. This is an official story by the devs. They are together. I'm just not gonna ask. I'm just gonna leave right now. Yeah, bye, goodbye. Let's talk about the Guardians. The Guardians' job is to make sure that reality as a whole doesn't break down. And the Guardians made artifacts and helped people to survive and thrive. Examples of the artifacts that the Guardians made are Harbor's wristband, Yoru's mask, and Astra's gauntlet. And that is why Harbor's wristband and Astra's gauntlet was connected, because they were all made by the Guardians. Astra reads the inscriptions on Harbor's artifact. That explained that they want to find the City of Flowers, and that Harbor's wristband is a key to unlocking the main door or whatever to City of Flowers. Sky, Astra, and Harbor goes to Omega Earth to find City of Flowers using Harbor's map. But on the way, Atlas comes to stop them. So Sky says, "Continue without me, I'll take him down." Now we have came to the 6th cinematic revelation, and I say this because this is a real confusing one. In Revelation, Astra and Harbor finds Lotus. Fade is at some sort of nightclub where she finds something about Lotus. At the Valorant HQ, Omen is cutting a bonsai tree at the same time as Sage does some training. Raze, Killjoy, and Jet is at a restaurant having fun. But then Fade, Raze, Killjoy, and Sage get a message that they are supposed to go to Lotus, so they do. Yup, everyone except Astra and Harbor were from Omega, which is real just so mind-blowing, and that is why they pointed their guns at each other. At the end of the Lotus trailer, Astra and Harbor see something. In a YouTube short that was released shortly after, we get to see what they saw. They activate the Nexus, but a spike stops it. And thank God they activated that spike and stopped the Nexus, because the Nexus is like a connection between Alpha and Omega and is a portal between them. So if you activate the Nexus on Omega Earth, you can teleport to the Nexus on Alpha Earth. But the Nexus on Alpha Earth is destroyed. So if that thing are fully powered up, They might have just doomed the entirety of Alpha Earth, or at least India, because that's where Lotus is located. Yeah, now they're just back to Alpha Earth doing their normal stuff, and the Nexus won't be activated for some reason. I don't make the story, okay? I'm just here to tell you about it. And apparently one of Reyna's friends robbed Kingdom Corporation. We don't know what they stole, but we know who it was. It was Gekko. Gekko is this like young adult teenager guy who has his buddies that he can summon from this belt. He gets to join the Valorant protocol after that Reyna really recommended that he should join. But he has not fought much, he doesn't really know how guns work and stuff, so Harbor became his coach. But yeah, there's not much happening since then. There's like one last thing that I'm just gonna shortly talk about. Paul Goodman is a person that's worked in many different facilities, and he has been doing some suspicious things together with Oran and Ruben Pontes, the scientists from Fracture. We don't really know much about this. These people just do weird things and pop up in many different random places. But on that note, thanks for watching. This video has been so rough to make. I've spent way too much time on this. Special thanks goes to Kingdom Archives and Sirjeppy. I got almost all my info from them. Really check out Kingdom Archives. It's a website where you have literally everything that has been made by Riot. Basically, like the voice comms, they are amazing. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. Ciao!